Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Dave Burns, along with Kyle Petty and Brad Daugherty. And you know the playoffs are here. 10 races to determine the 2023 Cup Series champion. And it all begins this Sunday at Darlington. So, since predictions always come true, and we know we're always right with all of our thoughts, why don't we talk about who ends up in Phoenix to go for the championship? Who are the final four drivers going to be in your mind? Brad, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'm going to go with Byron, Hamlin, Logano, and Truex. And when you start with William Byron, I mean, it's just obvious. He has been absolutely fantastic week in and week out, every discipline of racing, road course, short track, super speedway. He has been just fantastic, and they have performed above and beyond. So I've got to go with him. Hamlin, for me, on the other hand, has just been so consistent when it comes this time of year. I'm shocked Denny Hamlin hasn't won a championship by now. He is one of the greatest race car drivers we've ever seen. It's always been mistakes that's kept him from winning that championship. I think the maturity of Denny Hamlin, I know he's been around a long time anyway, but he just has more experience. That's going to give him the opportunity to win this championship. And the same thing with Martin Truex Jr. Martin, this time of year, just performs. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's got a solid pit crew. They do a great job. They always have good speed. There's multiple disciplines of racetracks that they're fast at, and he's a champion. He knows what needs to be done this time of year, so you can't bet against him. And then the other guy's Joey Logano. It just doesn't seem to matter how fast his race cars are or aren't. Joey just has the pedigree to get it done. He is a racer's racer. He is a smart racer, aggressive racer. I think Joey has a great opportunity as well.
All right, KP, are you on board 4 for 4 with Brad, or are you differing just a bit?
I'm so close, man, so close. And I start with Byron for a lot of the same reasons. I mean, this is a kid that's won on every style of racetrack. He's won the most races this year, but I think he's at a place in his career where we're just opening the door on the greatness that will be William Byron. And we've seen it at Hendrick Motorsports with Jeff Gordon. We've seen it with Jimmy Johnson. Listen, we would have seen it with Tim Richmond if we go all the way back to that. So I think he's one of those drivers that falls into that line. For me, Truex has just established himself over the last probably month and a half, 2 months as being the guy that no matter where he starts, no matter what's going on, he's going to find his way to the front, or at least find his way to the front 4 or 5 before the end of the day. They are just clicking on all 4. My difference between mine and Brad is I go with Larson. I take Kyle Larson in my final 4. And I go with him because 2 Hendrick cars. There's a lot's been made about Chase Elliott and about Alex Bowman not being in it, which means that I can focus my resources and a lot of my energy on 2 cars. I know Rick's only got 2 in the playoffs in this 16, but I think those 2 make it to the final 4. We know that Larson, what he can do, and he is just magic when he's on. They've been a little bit off, but if this thing hits in the playoff, he'll be magic. Joey Logano for the same reason. Joey Logano, you put him in the chase for the championship, okay? He puts that car on his back and somehow finds a way to make something happen. We have seen him win so many times in these last 10 races in a car that wasn't capable of winning. We've seen him block. We've seen him move. We've seen him move people out of the way. We've seen him do everything he had to do to get this car to Phoenix, and then do everything he could do there. He's only won a couple of times there, you know, when you look at the championships, but he's been there. And Brad will tell you in the NBA or in any sport, getting there is 2/3 of it. You can make it happen if you can elevate your game. Joey Logano elevates his game. So that ends up being my final 4. So at least we got 75% of it in common. We got 3. I'm not going to Vegas. Let me say I'm not going to Vegas on my picks, but I'm pretty confident.
Well, I was just going to tell everyone in closing, make sure you screenshot those predictions, those graphics, so you can come back at them later and see who actually does make the final 4. It all gets going this weekend starting in Darlington. Thanks for watching NASCAR American Motormouths, presented by Toyota.